Next, we have our new school, Bates College. This will be represented by Dick Nurnberg. Dick graduated from Bates College in 1963. After college, he attended dental school and joined the U.S. Army Reserve. Dick served in the Army for 31 years and retired at the rank of colonel. He served as the president of the National Infantry Association for 19 years and retired as their president emeritus. But what Dick is known best for is introducing the Columbus Rotary Club to Bates College. His football updates about Bates have been very informative, humorous, enjoyed by our membership. Dick?
Hello, can you all see me or hear me? If you've heard me before, you know that Bates College started playing football in 1875. When I went there 50 some odd years ago, there were 850 students, and they're up to almost 2,000 now. Now, I know some of my predecessors, that's about the size of one of their classrooms, but at Bates, we have small classrooms. They play 31 varsity sports, and they've had some struggles, but they last year won the last two games, especially the one against Bowdoin, which is like our Iron Bowl. I can confidently predict that they will go undefeated for the first time since 1947, because in 2020 they will not lose a game. Unfortunately, the season has been canceled due to the pandemic. There are challenges with a small college football program. For instance, unlike University of Georgia, you don't have to keep a retainer full of defense lawyers on hand. In Alabama, I don't know how their players are going to practice since all the bars are closed in Tuscaloosa for 2 weeks. At Auburn, the 200 positive COVID cases they have there won't affect their football team because they were all among students that went to class. Bates is most like Georgia Tech in that we do have our struggles winning games. I haven't been there for over 50 years, so I have called on an expert, somebody who has been there and who was intimately involved since 2018, and that is Coach Malik Hall. Coach Hall, there you are, played football at the University of Pennsylvania, where he was a defensive lineman and led them to Ivy League championships as a coach in 2015 and 2016. As a player, he led them to the Atlantic 10 championship game in 2003 with 46 tackles and 2 sacks. Before coming to Bates in 2018, he helped coach at Wagner College, Fordham, Hofstra, Central Connecticut State, and University of Massachusetts, where, on a personal note, he helped recruit Victor Cruz, who helped my Giants win a Super Bowl. So I'm very grateful to Coach Hall. Coach, I'm going to turn the program over to you, and you can, at your will, please have at all of these other folks here, the big schools. Thank you.
Well, first off, I just want to say thanks for having me, guys. Listen, to be a part of such a illustrious group, the SEC and ACC, Georgia, Auburn, Alabama, Georgia Tech. And though to be a part of you guys, we are Bobcats, not other cats. And Bobcats are throughout the whole country. And so thanks for inviting the Northern Bobcat down south, Laura to Macy Dixon. And as we talk about our history and our future, it's important to understand, you know, though we're not having football this fall, as I like to call it, our fall pause, there's still work to get done. There's still work to do. There's still recruiting to be done. There's still lifting, weights to be lifted. There's still gym shoe soles to be worn out, you know. And so as we restructure, reshape, and redeliver football in this untraditional season, we are excited to also introduce our senior class into graduation. And if they choose, being that the NCAA has given us waivers to come back and finish their Bates College academic season and athletic season off the right way. And as Dick says, to go undefeated, baby. Listen, as far as I'm concerned, we're only as good as our last game. And as the football guys may have had it, our last 2 games, we were 2-0. And as Dick alluded, our rival game, our first night game ever on Garcelon Field, with Bowdoin, the Bowdoin Bears, if you will. You know, we had an opportunity to get after it. In that game, what a game. Light in the lights at night, the whole community out. That scored the game of that game finished 30-5. That was the most points we put up in our 2 years here. And then we leave the Bowdoin game. Okay, and that's our first victory since being a part of the program. And we leave that game to close out our season, and we have to travel to Hamilton, New York. And as we go to Hamilton, New York is battling for their first season above 5 wins since I think the early 90s. Be that as it may, we're coming off of a great win against a rival, and Hamilton is charged to get over that 500 mark. And coming into that game, Hamilton came out on fire. They had great special teams. They had a great run game plan, and they got us 21-0 before we could blink. Never have I been a part of our guys in my tenure to see them not just fight, but to define grit for our ball club, to be down 21-0 and come out at halftime with Hamilton getting the ball. We create a turnover. That turnover was a spark. That spark turned into a flame. That flame turned into we are on fire. We had a 26-point run, and we finished winning that game 26-21, the biggest comeback in Bates history for almost 20-plus years. Now, I say all of that to say is that as we continue to grow our Bobcat family, we also continue to plant seeds, because the seeds that we plant, we hope that all of our alums, the Rotary Club even, can now look back and say, wow, those Bobcats, they just keep winning. And though we are not in the SEC, we still are a part of the football country. And that football country being in the NESCAC, we plan to go further. We plan to go stronger, bigger, and faster. But as we do all of that, we do all of that with understanding that the pandemic has not stopped the work. It's just changed it. We have to redeliver the work, re-image the work, and repurpose the work. And so, as you guys, the big boys, as I like to say, go into the football season, I'm not going to make any predictions other than the one that Dick made, which is Bates will go undefeated this year. And you can take that to the bank. And if you have any change, we'll take that too. All right? Thanks again. God bless. And keep playing football in your heart, because when we play in our heart, it lasts us forever. Thanks.
Coach, I thank you. You honor me by participating. You are the only head football coach that we have had at our Rotary Club since I've been here for the past 15 or 16 years. And football is football. One of the questions I have is your Division III school, how do you attract talented football players and students to Northern New England to play football for Bates College? What do you talk to them about?
Well, just for you guys, as we say Northern New England, I want to reel it in and let you guys know we're in Maine. And Maine as a state is vacation land. And so twofolds, be the main event and come to vacation land, baby. Where else you want to be? In the summer, we have water. In the winter, we have snow. And so in my mind, there's always something to do. And in the fall, we have football. So our biggest attraction, to be quite honest, is I think in our heart, everybody wants to be the first at doing something. In our heart, everyone wants to be different as well. But being the first and being different requires courage. And we also understand that there are some courageous young men out there who want to go and leave their region and create a name for themselves and a legacy for themselves. So if they ever go back home, if they ever go back to their origin before they came to Bates College, they can say, hey, family, pack up the RV. We're going on a road trip. We're going to vacation land this summer, right? And because that goes past 4 years, it's a 40-year mission. In our 4 years, you won't be able to say you played in front of 50,000, 70,000. In some cases, 100 if you're in a bowl. However, what you will be able to say about coming to Bates is I got the Fortune 500 job out of college, is I did an internship on Wall Street. Or, I did an internship with the NFL or the Patriots or the Boston Red Sox in their marketing department. Whatever it may be, we're looking to get our student athletes their dream in athletics as well as their dreams in their careers. And so that is our greatest tool, is that we're going to prepare you for 40 years. And our hook, line, sinker is vacation land.
Thank you, Coach. Now, we got a comment from one of our members saying that he's a Georgia Bulldog and he feels sorry for us not being able to play football this year. And I can understand that because, you go to Georgia, that's football. What are your plans for the players and the coaches to keep them focused during the season without football?
That's a great question. I think we've had time to prepare for what this will look like in our minds. And because we've come out with our statement of not playing in the fall relatively soon, the first challenge is now that we're enrolling back on campus. Our bodies have that clock of, okay, I got to wake up at 5 because we got breakfast at 6:30. We got the lift at 7:30, and then we're on the field at 10:30. Like, that's the biggest part that I've had to struggle with now that kids are enrolling. And so it's like a false start. You're lining up, you're getting at the line, and you're waiting for the gun to fire, but it's not firing. And so that will be a challenge. I think it will also be difficult once we start seeing more football. Right now, we're not able to see it. So it's, if that out of sight, out of mind thought process, it is real psychologically. And that once the NFL gets started and once Alabama and Auburn and G-Tech and Georgia, you guys start playing, now we're going to have that football spirit come back and kind of irritate us a little bit. And so what our plan is as a football staff and a program is one, there's a lot of social emotional learning to go on here because of a lot of athletes had abrupt ending to their athletic career or abrupt ending to their training. And so the first thing that we want to do is create a space, a social emotional space where they can go through how they truly feel about, listen, there's no football. I came up here and I thought I could handle it, but coach, I'm not sure if I can handle this, man. I'm just watching the documentary on HBO, Hard Knocks, and I almost ran through the front door to go tackle someone. Coach, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And so that's our concern, and that's a real concern. But it's not so much a physical concern as much as it is a social emotional concern. And so we're gonna do some training. We want to pick things up, put them down, i.e. weights, okay? We'll get a ton of skill and drill work in. And as we progress with the CDC guidelines and the Bates College guidelines, we hope to turn that into a progression on 7-on-7, one-on-ones, maybe a little inside fun, baby. And if we can get all the way to the end and we came out of this, with no positive tests, no breakouts, I think not only will our community be excited for a potential spring season, but I think our entire team will be reinvigorated to know, hey, we did get that training session that ended abruptly this spring. hey, we did get that lift in those lifting goals that ended abruptly this spring. Yeah, I was able to get back focused and get to some of my weight loss goals or weight gain goals, right? And so those are the focus. That's the focus for our staff. And with the idea, we're not quite sure what this is going to look like for them academically. And so I also understand, being a qualifier at the 1A level or the big boys, that's a little bit different for us. We're on the high end of that academic index. And so there's a delicate balance to feed that football hunger, but not feed it enough to where it's almost putting more on their plate where they can't focus on the academic side. And knowing that that is now not normal anymore. It's not, hey, let's go to class, let's get a workout, go get a breakfast, and then go to class. Like, it's, hey, can we go get a workout? And if I go to class, is it virtual or can I actually go to the building? And so those are some nuances that we are still working through, that we have nailed down, but now it's time to put that practice into execution. And that's where we are as an institution right now.
So there has been some thought then to playing in the spring?
It has. I think is a novelty that I think only works because football generally has spring ball in most places. And so the thought process in lacing up the shoes and pads and helmet is not as taboo on a larger level of football, maybe for the Division III landscape, but I think with everyone having that blueprint already done, I think the biggest evaluation of this is, can your campus handle it? And can your athletes turn it over? And are you going to play a full season in the spring? Because the turnover on their bodies, they're looking at 6-7 months, because when the season ends till spring ball or to the next season. And so I think we'll hash out and flush out the details, as they say. The devil is in the details. And I think the football guys want us to play. So either way, another, we got to fight somebody.
Good for you, Coach Hall. I tell you, with your enthusiasm and knowledge and spirit, I predict that whenever the next season is, Bates is going to win the championship of the conference there. And you honor me by coming, and I thank you very much. And I'm going to turn it back over now to Joe Young, President Joe Young. So
thank you, sir.
Thank you, Coach Hall. I agree with Dick wholeheartedly. We appreciate your enthusiasm. We appreciate you being with us here today. You honor us with your presence, and it's our custom as a club to recognize our speakers by donating a children's book to our local public library in their honor, and we're pleased to be able to do that for you today. There will be a book inscribed with your name on it in the Columbus Public Library. So if you ever get an opportunity to get down here on a recruiting trip, we'd welcome an opportunity to treat you to lunch and have an opportunity to thank you in person. But again, we really appreciate you joining us today, and good luck as you continue to work with your players and getting through this very challenging time. Looking forward to the next season as well.
I appreciate you guys having me. And listen, if I could come down and read children's books and recruit, I tell you what, that's a pigskin dream right there. And so I appreciate you guys having me. Shout out to the Rotary Club of Columbus. And hey, man, it's Pandemic Pigskin season. So good luck to you guys, and thanks for having us.